You're live now.
Thank you. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda with a few changes. The first change being to item F. The discussion action approval of resolution 2024-34 water sewer availability rates in the packet is incorrect. It currently shows in the packet that water availability fee will be billed quarterly at $37.12, 32 cents. The correct number should be $36.12. I would also ask that we move items O, P, and Q to the first of the meeting.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the agenda with a change to item F.
Correct.
Changing items in the packet to quarterly billing at $36.12 a quarter. Correct.
Yes, there are, what happened was the wrong rate was applied. The rate increase was applied to the current rate system. So I applied a 5.8 when it should have been a 3.3. So all of those rates on through there have been adjusted just now. And that's what you see on that sheet. So they went down.
That'll be our discussion.
Okay, and also to move items O, P, and Q immediately to the front of the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, I would like to get a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of the June 11th, 2024 minutes.
I make a motion to approve consent agenda with the minutes of June 11, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, if you hear comments from the audience not pertaining to any items on the agenda, the sign-in sheet, I believe it has Lisa Sutton wanted to discuss. Yeah, tank 7.
I'm here for my clients who can't be here tonight, but they bought 52 Cheerful Way, which is right next to the Tank 7 project. And so we had a couple of requests of the council, or at least to think about this. BJ sent me over the utility easement agreement, which was signed by a previous administration, where it talks about installing vegetations and shrubbery around the water tank, supporting structures to conceal it from adjacent private property. And then also, it shall be restored into a condition which it existed in the commencement of the project. So this project's been a long time coming. So a couple of things that I was hoping that you guys would consider is a discussion of the location of the tank. Could it be possible to replace where the tank is existing with the new tank? And I know it's an acting tank, but maybe there could be some kind of temporary tank and move it, or in a different location completely. Also, just a thought to alert all the adjacent neighbors in writing about this project. And then develop a landscaping plan to shield the tank from adjacent neighbors. Consider creating a berm with trees planted and to maximize the scope of visual shielding, and plant large trees staggered on that berm. And we ask that you to consider staying the project until we can get these things, some resolve to these questions. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
I have a copy of this if anybody needs it.
Here. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
At this time, I would like to get a motion to move into an executive session per an MSA 10-15-1-8-1H-2, limited personnel matters, Brian Carew. In the executive session will be the manager, the counselors, Steve Ross, the village attorney in this matter, not the village attorney, but the attorney handling this matter for the village. And our HR director will be on the phone.
I make a motion to move into executive session for NMSA 10-15-1H-2. Limited personnel matters, Brian Caruth. Those attending the session will be council, mayor, manager, attorney Ross.
And on the phone will be our HR director, Tammy McClendon.
And with HR director Tammy McClendon on the phone.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, I have to do a roll call on there. Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane.
Aye.
Thanks.
Dennis, make sure that's getting the good video.
Red's not the right. I am not, and then you're right side. It just has to make sure it's getting a video, it's not even on. Yeah.
We're getting.
But it's so nice to go and see it change. Not sure.
You'll see it.
Oh, good. I don't like. And I did mine. No, the attorney. The only one that. It was good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like I know.
Yeah, if that's not live streaming to the page, we are recording it on Facebook. So I'll just have to upload it like I've been uploading all the other videos from the different other meetings. We get audio and visual on there.
It's correct.
So just wait for it. Then I'll be.
We got it. Not right.
Doesn't happen.
No, they're not letting us. They have to. I said, you're back there for. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Well, he said that's not the case. I'm Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. So.
Well, see, the thing is that. So then. He said that he has to record it. It won't be said. But I know.
Can I help?
On the,
Motion failing.
motion failing, where is, I never found a fee or a state law or anything on it, but. Right. Whatever, I couldn't find it anywhere, like if they would get to it, yeah.
What happens is the actual vote failed.
Right.
Because we had 2-2 and no mayor could break it.
Right.
So the vote essentially was forced. So to pass or deny a vote, you need 3 people. Or in our case, 3 people, because we have 4 councilmen and the mayor won't vote unless it's right. So it's got to be either 3 up or 3 down. If it's 2-2 this time, then the mayor votes.
Right. Yeah. I just don't know where that is.
Yeah, I just have to dig it. Well,
I looked at the
if you
state.
send me a note, I can do it.
Okay.
You can do it within the IFRA if you want
I can do
to.
what?
You can do that with the IFRA if you want to. Or you just write, just write me a note and I'll go look it up. But I have to be reminded, because I do like to stop.
I understand. I have to write everything down. I don't remember.
Well, it's like the, little things that people ask me to. I do those right away. So I don't have like a list in my head of 18 things.
So you should be maybe a part of this celebration. No, we should, but when it goes to the celebration like this, it's only. Nobody else can tell that.
That could be presented to council. Doesn't say who does it. This is us. Well, I mean, we know that, yeah.
Which one? That's what I read. So, how everyone, maybe your side of it. He's got. Oh, yeah. Because they. So what was it? Two.
Maybe. Well. No, it's not a hybrid. We got it there.
Can I give you this? This is a list of questions for them.
Yes, absolutely. I have to put this in a note someplace.
Yeah.
Make sure that.
I don't get it out of my mouth so good, so might be
No,
better.
you're cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So the original time is not as big now. It's one that there's a place. And the problem is an actual. Right. It's been a years. Well, they, and so right now they're saying no.
So, I think there was some.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, they started. In a different place. So that one of them to make a plan or they. I mean, it's already. The landscape. Stay real. They own it. Back down there.
I don't think I can. What it was during the first. Yes, yeah, it was basically a placement test, like we did. Yes. Yeah, I think that have that.
They call me.
I didn't.
We're right in the middle of that. There is a chance if we get up and do something unusual, I wish I'd rather you wait to the next thing and I'll put you on. We do this. That would be better. Can you do it in 3 minutes? Okay, let me give you my card. You just write me.
I got the That's fine.
So I'll be here.
Very good. I'm still good.
Okay, that'd be good.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. There was not. There, it's basically nice. I don't know if she's.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just. Right. It's a good idea because. Can't ever tell us about something. And it sounds like. That's because it has like those things that you hear, you know, like. There's something Yeah. I know, we're sorry, I was in the States, that's why it's beautiful. The bubbles. It has brackets and stuff. And then they like the gate. Normally not like there's a branch. The one that mine is just. She didn't take her dog.
Yeah, because that's not what you do. You know, I mean.
My daughter pushes back and we have just like. A little bit. It's like, oh, just fit forward. That's what I did.
Well, I'm gonna do that. Usually I can only get in my skills. I had to go real easy because it's a dog brush. Steel, steel stingy, kind of hard, so.
Yeah.
You know. Oh. Okay, well, see how that goes. I'm pretty good about it. She, you know, I told her, I got her last. And I'm just. And then when it's like, oh, and it hasn't been, you know,
So I hear and the hospital, he said that he just wants to. But if you want like actual lifestyle, like I've been like saying and stuff, that he just go back to the same place. I can take it up here and be similar to it. So you're gonna. You're not. No. Yeah. Yeah, no, she went to the like film and photography school in this. So she's phenomenal. But I'm getting my out, she's the best. And it's really good. But I was trying to find some outfits for her. So. Well, I know what he could wear out of his closet, but he wants to get his. There's that red dress.
Okay, oh, that's really nice.
It's a little dancing, so she asked if she could have it instead of naturally. I don't know her daddy, but sorry. My birthday needs right now. One of the best days.
You know. And so. Figure yourself out. Oh. Right. Back up in one ten. All that builder. Oh.
See myself wearing that dress.
Yeah, didn't you take all the photos?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
But I guess I'm not going to. From what?
So, your dad tonight? Yeah. And nobody did it.
When you watch it, you go.
Yesterday, I saw you in the canyon and 2 months later, that's behind you. So, yeah, I think I sent you the same yellow car. The doors on.
I'm surprised I didn't know that.
He probably would have been right behind you. When I found out about his
Anyway,
fires.
okay, yeah. This is pretty news. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's got my brain's nice. What? And I'm just like wanting to stay like. Oh, what?
That's like.
It'll have AC, you won't have to. Use stuff. It said like the minimum and I've been using like. It's the one in the middle, it's not, it's. You have to do.
Well, and I and,
Like I made so many trips with the.
4 kids. So bad, and so I, green and said. No, was he so? So. Come on. Okay.
Do that. I'm glad I figured that out. He's actually really messed up my car after. Driving that much.
Because it sounds like you're not.
Yeah, so they were like, I was still. Pretty much.
Oh.
It's like from the.
Right. And that's a big.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
I'm like, you know, there's so. It's like something nice, everything happens, yeah, it's like. But you know, it's not finding. Yeah, stop like. That day. No. You go. Yellow means. I did not know. I figured something that one. This time she's in Manitou Springs. But, it's been so stupid.
Well, 3 people learned it.
My part's like 6.
And you know, we were at like the very bottom. So it was like, oh, I need to go. The kid was like the same today. I don't have my daddy.
So. I've been told, I know. I've been told, so I still have to go back and talk.
You can break the pins and then I'll sit back in. So you want to look at the pins.
Yeah, right. So close is. Yeah. So it's. We're taking. We're speaking. Okay, so when you first say, I went to breaking zero, so we're also leave the. That was my first time. To get the girls that I know. You and I know about the. No, it was here. Boy, yeah, I just had to let the young girls know. They had one. Together for a while now. They really do together. Yeah. What do you wait? I never thought it was. So Tuesday, Wednesday, or something, or Monday, or that.
No,
Okay.
no, so I generally put those on calendar years, not fiscal years. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yes. Yep.
You're giving me a hard time today. We're gonna have to a little meeting.
Yeah. And then they. That's not good. So, yeah, yeah, okay. All right. I don't feel like I want to get down here. Okay. Okay. Yes. I don't know, it's protect my skin from the. It's not someone say, so I'm sorry, Anne. Just yours. That wasn't. Well, good. He's like, just she will come up with something. I know, that's what here. Yeah, now. So. Good times. So what's the next? Yeah. What did you want? Yeah. That's really cool. Oh, yeah, I know. So how long did you use for Chloe? And very. Kind of slow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She, her weed saw it, then her phone password, because she had very thick. Like she really. Running the circles. So we're definitely gonna have to do these.
They were breaking up for that.
They were very good. Put in its thing in the shop. That's what I was starting to. To that. That's really long.
Yeah.
Find the one.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I draw from. So. The rest of this one. So the people that are not like black lines. We'll see it from the backside and we're in frontier, we'll see it from this side. Eliminate the USA. On the backside, HSU, like they did last year, which was confusing everybody. They were having. Yeah, oh yeah, so we're getting straightened out, you'll have beauty from both sides.
That kind of says everything. That's my dad's been saying, it's the same family, like, good.
Well, the one up there.
Yes, ma'am. It's a regular size.
We haven't been to Zeb's. Last time we went there, you know, vacation.
That's like a peanut. Was there perhaps? Yeah. Brian.
I don't think it's the.
I'm like,
Why that's.
we do a drum shop.
Yes.
And I was like, what's that?
So the resort used to have a full table in Legends, you go down the corner, and they had all these, nobody. So then. Oh, sure.
We should look at it next year. Oh, like.
I don't know, that's-
It's like, it's $5,000 per year contract.
We went and watched it, yeah, we went and watched the football, you can do the one, and they didn't have to eat popcorn. We watched that.
Yeah, your show.
So the elements are like.
Yeah, I'll call, right, go call.
Legends is the last.
Or call and call.
That's how we went along.
There were a couple other cities, because they'd seen, there's some stuff I was trying to win.
It is very good.
My fire.
I mean, but.
Too rapid. Yeah.
It's like.
These guys.
They were wearing under his work.
First, that's at the high school. Right here. And there was so. Put in lipstick and. Everybody. Just like here. Down the street. You see, I can swim. Don't have things. His friends, drone company. And I'm not a everybody thought I should. Well, good on you. And just. The fun of that. And. And then all of a sudden. Right. You know. And that was. I hear 9,000 donated. One. So he's on. So we just kind of. Then spread. You're on. Lamps there. Very cool. It's true. We should all just be sleeping around. Yes. You know what? Yeah, that's Yeah. No, it's just that has that audio. I feel check and kind of see them.
Interest in doing that?
They had one where we just drove over stars so that we could be able to use. For no reason. Melissa, went to-
That's why it's in the back. You're on it on Thursdays. She always said in the back. And you just need that. You have the. I just bring
Yeah. Cause it only has to certain, it only does for the reasons. This is the one we're getting.
It's like that.
I forgot.
I called it a full two, Chloe does not need 3 times. When it was. I've heard you. Well, she's got 2 on right now. And it's kind of 7 right here. I just think my resolution. You need to do it not yoga straight.
Yeah.
I got it.
Sure. Sure. Here. And when these go outside, you're at school.
But I don't know what's outside.
This is mine.
Okay.
Almost not the house.
So now it's there.
Well, I mean,
No.
they.
You said this is. No, that's.
No, he's not.
Yeah. It's not.
All the other
Yeah,
ones.
back in
You know.
I don't know.
primary.
If they called.
There's recall, and we have to take the battery out. and
Yeah.
that's it.
Amanda, I don't know if they would know.
Yeah, they're not-
Well, I know they're like, had so many. I don't know. I'm gonna pull that out. Absolutely. I don't probably don't run out of the hole.
John?
Right. So it's like on fire for a phone for some. Then it came
I
up
think so.
to somebody.
Right after the one.
But her collar is like she wears it. Harness is only on one side. And you come from the collar.
Yes.
Coco, fall out of my car. Doesn't have anybody's phone. I would suggest.
Ran right over it.
Right down. Like, this is gonna be.
Right on this, yeah. It's also really yeah, you can't. Well, we gotta get the invoice filed. Yeah, July 12th.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to.
At a certain deadline, so you gotta have all your invoices in. Plus, by this date, okay, so for like Wildfire, and we just have insurance. And, they're not hired, you like, a couple months ago for the transaction. Yeah. And it's like, oh, everywhere in Boston, this guy had no state like work, just getting there. So, okay.
Has Arlo been on Instagram? Posting? I don't think so. Arlo?
Invoice by after 12. as it can.
Yeah, I'm over there.
Oh, I have a smaller one for my or two. Thanks.
They're pretty healthy, but by the end of the day, I'm like.
Once you know you're
I
in.
know. Like, yeah, maybe I couldn't. Should have kept flip flops on.
Very good. Kind of going from the floor to the bed. Oh, my glasses. I've seen the hair fall on bed.
Approximately 9:14 p.m.
9:14. You better not start at 9:12.
It's got exactly 9:12. I'm the one who's starting it last year. So I gotta remember what time it's exactly. Dark, so next week and actually schedule. So it's
That's my brother's.
Well, now we're on
You actually.
Yeah, I know that. Dude, I'm cracking up. So when it's white tell, but I was literally.
It's nothing yet.
Also Manhattan. But I'm thirstier than I already am.
When did the building should be at? Almost fall, I said.
If you don't get something cold, you're not gonna have to.
That's popsicles.
Big box of popsicle. They come back.
Thank you.
Well, after for the drone show, and I was supposed to be short.
Oh, thanks, I guess.
Mark, I think they're trying to keep
Yeah.
buzz on sugar, so they made it for the drone show. But now that I work, so I can't buy food for the office, so I can't get them.
I know. I'm gonna just put it on Sunday.
I'm afraid. I got a Trevor early. Didn't graduate. I got scheduled for my Trevor. That's cute. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then this guy turns to college.
Yeah.
Mine got approved by the procurement officer. Finance director, in the mayor, then I got started in the purchase, and I'm like, wait, I've been here. And I got approved.
I remember.
So tell me. Should have it gotten ordered? I just no. The county man.
As a sophomore, he was volunteer fire. Oh, you did? So you worked 7 years. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really. Yeah, that was the one he volunteered at. when he was living down there. And then she got stationed, and his first station, he was the 10-hour drive. I was in easy
Basically, not
Yeah. It was an interesting story.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was your work session when we discussed? Didn't make a decision, right? Three on that point.
That's his wife.
Oh, that's a cool story.
That's in the press release.
That's cool.
And then he called me, and said, "Greg, I got some changes, can we get on the phone during tomorrow?" I'll change whatever you want. I'm not taking this part. I got them, he's got 3 kids, he's super proud of. He sounds like. He's 51 now. Started, so. He was on the early trail 25. He started so young, and then. Oh. Wow.
Some of it's years.
So, yeah, that was me too.
Yeah.
It was all awesome.
I was like, I have a certification as I soft certified out. I was certified for Roberts. And also three times a year. Yes. But now that I look back, I got it. You figured it out.
I do think if I'm gonna get another package, definitely gonna be a dirt bike, because that's what you want to do. You get it mounted bike. Yeah. Easy road is split. It's pretty good shape though. I mean, like, if I got a small, it's basically. Spend on. Actually, cheaper than if I thought.
So. Which one of those?
Julie, just say, you're on that time, the rest of you is like.
I think that really needs to be next time.
Oh, they're turning out okay.
You know, for your patience, at this time, I would request a motion to return from executive session per NMSA 10-15, 1H-2, limited personnel matters of Brian Creek.
I make a motion to return from executive session for NMSA 10-15-1H-2. Discussion action approval and termination of Brian Carew.
Second.
Mr. Humbert. Aye. Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe.
Aye.
Pass, you are back in session.
So at this time, I'd like to address item Q on the agenda, and I'd like to modify the motion to read as such. I would ask for a motion accepting the hearing officer's recommended decision in the Brian Carew personnel matter.
I make a motion to accept the hearing officer's recommended decision in the Brian Carew matter.
Second.
Okay. On that motion, Councilman Weeks,
Aye.
Councilman Crane,
Aye.
Councilman Howe,
Nay.
nay. Councilman Humbert,
Aye.
that is a 3-1, it is approved.
This time, we'd like to move back to item A. I'd like to get a motion for discussion of Title IX additional adjustments.
I make a motion for discussion of Title IX additional adjustments.
Second.
We don't have Santos with us this evening. But I understand that there might be some. Manager, do you know if we're seeing some of these for the second time and others for the first time?
Well, so some of them were presented, but there was actually 2 different mailings and 2 different public notifications. Because from the first hearing, we determined there needed to be additional changes and they were substantial enough that needed a second notification. And so since the proper notifications have occurred to the public, we decided to combine them into a single hearing. These changes are no different than the ones that were presented to the council in the last work session by Santos.
So, Mr. Manager, we're considering this a second reading.
So technically, a second reading is not required by statute, and it's not in our policies. But if the council wishes to have a second reading, then, you can either choose, not to vote on these, by not seconding the motion, and it'll die. But this is really the third time that the original ones have been presented to the council. And this is the second time that, the subsequent changes have been presented to council.
No, I don't wish to go any further on this. I was just asking the question.
Yeah, I was just trying to explain the ins and outs.
So then and again, we had a work session, a week ago where we did discuss all this with Mr. Martinez. So if there's any further discussion or questions, no council. Clark Road,
We have no vote on the discussion. It's just getting it in front of us. We are now on item B.
moving on to item B, discussion action, approve RFP 2024-010 attorney legal services. Manager, I'm sorry, if I could get a motion.
I make a motion for discussion action, approve RFP 2024-010 attorney legal services.
I'll second.
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Manager,
I'm sorry, I'm out of order. Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Discussion on item B, we have a motion and a second, but we have.
Counselor Weeks made a second. Manager Weir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, as you can see, and as we discussed in the work session, we are requesting to go out to RFP for on-call attorney. We have several needs in the village, including water rights, some personnel. We have a lot of ordinances that need to be rewritten. We even had discussions today about many of our ordinances in relation to the water and the wastewater billing systems and so on. And so because of that, we feel like that it would be best for us to go out and hire a firm that would be able to better serve and more quickly serve the village and its legal needs.
Again, this is a discussion item in our last work session.
Is there an amount that we're thinking about?
No, it's RFP.
Yeah, it's an RFP, so they would have to give us the amount.
Thank you.
Any further questions or discussion? Clerk?
On item B, Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
passed.
Moving on to item C, discussion action, if I could get a motion for the approval to move forward with an RFP for service to lay and compact base course on 4 road projects.
Good evening, Mayor and
Mayor
Council.
Pro Tem, can I get a?
I make a motion for discussion action, approve MOA dispatch services.
I'll second.
No,
Sorry,
we're
you're
on
running
item
ahead.
C.
On C.
I'm sorry. Item C, discussion action, a motion to approve to move forward with an RFP for service to lay and compact base course on 4 roads projects.
I'll second.
Director Epler?
Sorry for jumping the gun there. Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. What I would like to do is move forward with an RFP for contract services to lay and place compact base course on 4 road projects. The goal of this is to contract this work out so we can keep the village street staff working on maintenance and smaller projects.
So this belly dump water rolled right on site?
Yes.
Can you identify the 4 projects you have in mind?
Yes, I can. There's approximately 3.3 miles of El Camino Real. The majority of that being on the lower 2 miles. And then another section up near the top above Cheerful Way. Sierra Blanca Circle. Sierra Blanca Road. And about 75% of Calle de los Indios.
So, what would be the expected depth of the gravel once it's spread?
Minimum of 6 inches.
Okay,
And this will be for immediate work. As in
Yes.
next. 30
Yes,
days.
pending final approval of the 24-25 budget.
Some of it's already been started, right?
We've been doing some spot work. Yes, the work we've done up to this point has been with dollars that were available for the 23-24 budget.
Any other questions for Director Epler? Clerk Rowe?
On item C, Mr. Crane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Howe?
aye,
Mr. Humbert?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Pass.
Moving on now to item D. Discussion action. I'd like to get a motion to approve an MOA dispatch service.
I'll make a motion for item D, discussion action, approve MOA dispatch services.
Second.
Chief Hildry?
All right, Mayor, Council, Manager, constituents, thanks for letting me talk a little about this. This contract is essentially unchanged except for dates from what we have operated under the last many years. Ironically, in 2006, when I was employed by Red River and was over the dispatch services, we implemented the very first MOU to provide these services to Angel Fire. So essentially, the boilerplate language is that they're going to give 24/7, 365 dispatch services for the village. That includes 911 as well as PSAP, which is public safety answering point, business lines, if you will. It's for emergency and non-emergency dispatching. It's for police, fire, EMS, as well as emergency and after hours public works as necessary. The equipment will still be owned by Red River with the exception of what is on the tower that we utilize here. That is owned by the resort, but utilized by the village. So we are still responsible for the antenna, coax, grounding, certain things like that, should there be a failure point. The payment did not go up. I believe there was some discussion about that, but it will be $62,304 annually, paid in 4 in quarterly installments. Half of that payment comes from fire chief's budget and half comes from my budget. This is a 1-year contract and it is renewable at the end of that 1 year. I stand for any questions.
Counselors?
This is reciprocal agreement, or I assume there is this reciprocal agreement for us to provide services to Red River as well, or is it a one-way?
No, this is for dispatch services.
Okay.
We have no dispatch communications division here in the village at this time. So Red River does have a 24/7 answering point. And as I kind of stated, for 911 and business line phones, and they will dispatch by phone, by radio to police, fire, EMS, public works, all public safety disciplines, if you will. We just have to keep our side of the equipment working. Red River owns the repeaters, the electronic components, if you will, and they're responsible for the maintenance and replacement of those.
Clerk Rowe?
On item D, Mr. Howe?
Aye,
Mr. Humbert? Aye. Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Pass.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to item E. discussion action, like get a motion to approve resolution 2024-32. Wildfire protection fees.
I'll make a motion for discussion action, approve RES 2024-32 wildfire protection fees.
I'll second.
Okay. Manager Weir,
Mr. Mayor, this is simply, an increase of approximately 3.3%, which was the CPI, for last year as of December of 2023. And, so we're just trying to increase these to keep up with inflation.
Quick question, the resolution I have a copy of says no change to 2 items, but 3. Do I have that?
so
The increase, Mr. Manager, if I could, the increase there was so slight, I couldn't even raise it a penny.
based on,
The 3.3 rate.
So, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Crane, so we were trying to keep these rounded at 50 cents. This one is not hardwired to 3.3%. As I explained in the work session, we could raise this to anything we wanted, but the recommendation from the management team was to stay in line and go up 3.3%. And because these amounts are so small, we couldn't round it up to a 50-cent increment. Yeah.
Correct.
again, these were all discussed in our work session last Tuesday. Any further discussion or questions? Clerk Grote?
On item E, Mr. Humbert, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Pass.
And we want to item F, discussion action. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-34, water sewer availability rates as modified at the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion for discussion action, approve resolution 2024-34 water sewer availability rates as modified in the approval of the agenda.
Second.
Manager Rear?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We presented the CPI at 3.3%. That is the overall CPI for the village for 2023. With digging into further detail, we actually could have qualified to go for this one as high as 5.8%. Because the ordinance does allow us to specify the CPI for water, wastewater utilities. And after the initial discussions were, let's take it as high as it can go in the resolution. And but after further discussion with the Public Works Director, we felt like since we committed to 3.3% in the work session, and that we do have a little room in these fees in this fund, that we maintain the 3.3% as a recommendation for increase. But legally, we could increase it as much as 5.8%.
In the work session, of course, we had some discussion about obviously the needing to raise. I mean, we need to raise just to keep up with inflation, and as far as water and sewer availability and so on, you know, we need all the money we can get in our infrastructure, but I have to agree with the director and the manager. But I would hate to see it raise beyond the 3.3%.
So this obviously was modified to 3612, but I still see this change will be fixed. The 5.2 will be corrected.
The 5.2 will be replaced by the 3.3.
So what you'll need to do, since this was in the package, we'll need to make a motion to amend the resolution to that percentage. That will be required, so you have to vote on the amendment to the resolution. And then once you vote on the amendment to the resolution, then you'll vote on the amended resolution.
So can I get a motion to amend the motion? To change the resolution 2024-34, water sewer availability rates from the 5.2% presented to the 3.3% discussed.
I make a motion to amend the motion for resolution 2024-34, water sewer availability rates to show all the rates at a 3.3% increase.
Get a second?
Second.
Mr. Crane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Pass, we will amend the,
The motion is now amended, so now we need to vote on the amended motion.
one more time on F. Do we vote now or do we?
Yes.
No, you have to make a motion.
Make them.
There needs to be a motion to approve the amended resolution.
I make a motion to approve the amended resolution and have a roll call vote.
Second.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
it's a pass.
Moving on to item G. Discussion action. I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-35 for water sewer rates.
I'll make a motion for discussion action, approve resolution 2024-35, water sewer rates.
I'll second.
So are we looking, we were, in our work session, I want to just clarify that we did discuss a 3.2% rate across the board. Is this one being presented at 5.2% as well?
No, sir, that's the allowable increase in this one, but the way this one is worded is in the last whereas. Angel Fire will propose lesser
3%.
3% increase. That's the recommendation from Public Works.
And that's how the resolution is written.
That's correct. So it's a 3% increase.
Any questions or discussion for the manager and the director? Clerk Rowe?
On item G, Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
pass.
Moving on to item H. Discussion action, I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-36. Both water fees.
I'll make a motion for discussion action, approve resolution 2024-36, bulk water fees.
Second.
Manager Weir?
Again, this one actually is 3.3%, is a recommendation in the resolution. And that's a recommendation from Public Works.
Any questions or discussion? Clerk Rowe?
On item H, Mr. Humbert, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
pass.
Moving on to item I. Discussion action, I'd like to get a motion to approve resolution 2024-37. Schedule of tap fees.
I'll make a motion for discussion action, approve resolution 2024-37, schedule of tap fees.
Second.
Manager Weir?
Again, Mr. Mayor, this is a recommendation of Public Works and for a 3.3% increase for tap fees over the prior year.
Any questions from the manager or director? Clerk Rowe?
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
pass.
Okay, we'll move on now to item J, discussion action. I'd ask for approval of resolution 2020, a motion to approve resolution 2024-38 meter installation charges.
I'll make a motion for discussion action, approve resolution 2024-38, meter installation charge.
Second.
Andrew Weir.
Here again, Mr. Mayor, this is a recommendation of the increases as shown under the new installation charge.
Questions or discussion? Clerk Groot.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
pass.
Moving on to item K, discussion action. I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-39 solid waste trash service rates.
I make a motion for discussion action, approve resolution 2024-39 solid waste trash service rate.
Second.
Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, once again, the amounts that are shown here, there's a current fee and a new fee amount, and these are the amounts that are recommended, the fees be increased to.
Any questions, discussion? Clerk Groot.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks.
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
pass.
On to item L. Discussion action. I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-40 solid waste transfer rate.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-40 solid waste transfer rate.
Second.
Manager Weir.
So here again, these are minimal increases, but just enough to attempt to keep up with some inflation to some degree without increasing prices too much.
Mr. Humbert,
Aye.
Mr. Weeks,
Aye.
Mr. Crane,
Aye.
Mr. Howe,
Aye.
pass.
And moving on to item M. Discussion action. I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-41. Investigation into traffic violation fines.
I make a motion for resolution 2024-41 investigation into traffic violation fines.
I'll second.
So, Mr. Mayor, in this case, traffic violation fines are required to be in ordinance and not in resolution. And therefore, we have to go through the ordinance process. So this is simply, and I think the traffic violation changes, which is basically a $30 increase to all the fines, was presented at the work session. And this is basically asking for approval from the council to allow us to start pursuing an ordinance change to incorporate those numbers. This is not final approval of those. We do have to do 2 weeks notification to the public prior to y'all voting to approve that ordinance change and have a public hearing.
And I assume the school bus.
It
will be
was
part
moved
of
to
that
$300.
Well, there was discussion of it being higher than that with the last work session, but this is just an investigation into traffic.
Well, so with this approval, with those numbers that we talked about at the council is what we will advertise, those numbers. So if we want to change one of those numbers, we need direction from the council to do so.
I want to say that I do believe at the work session, excuse me, that we agreed with the overall fee increase, with the exception of the passing of a school bus when it's stopped with its flashers out to the maximum allowable fine of $500. So if that's not what we're looking at here, I have to find that schedule again. But from my understanding from the work session, that, and correct me if I'm wrong,
My understanding was, everything was gonna go up by the $30 to stay in line with the other counties, but the discussion of the work session was. I felt, and I think there was some agreement that the passing of the school bus was too low. I know there was some discussion that there is a maximum allowable fine in municipal court, if I remember correctly. And so we were looking to go as high, as close to that as we thought we could legally get away with without tripping over another unintended consequence. So I guess, is there some is there a recommendation, the 300, because as I recall, it was gonna go from 200 to 230. And we were hoping to push it higher than that, so 300 was the number.
Well, that was the number that, I know we talked about going high. I know that Lieutenant Strickland had some concerns about going to $500. And so my impression in that meeting was that we came down and we said 300 was the right number.
It was
Maybe I
It was a
misunderstood.
discussion meeting too, so I was no action made, just discussion.
This is a 350 on this draft. That was.
Just as a point
So,
of information.
well, if you guys wanna take it higher, again, Chief, I don't know if you had any concerns. I know that Lieutenant Strickland did. I don't remember the exact comments, but he had concerns about going as high as 500 for that,
Well, it just.
because that's a maximum allowable by law.
If I recall from the discussion, is that, and forgive me for not knowing the body that looks at. So our fine should be in line with similar communities and counties. And
So the statute says they have to, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Mayor, but the statute says that they have to be similar to state statute. So
which is.
these fines are defined within state statute. And that's why we have to do them in ordinance. And the statute says that municipalities are allowed to create their own fines, and counties, their own fines that are similar to that. So the discussion was with legal counsel, if I think the state statute's 165. And if we go too high, all of a sudden, are we similar anymore? And will that stand up in court?
Chief Hogan.
Mayor, council, manager, constituents, I would like to offer a thought for consideration here. The Uniform Traffic Code, which the village and all municipalities adopt yearly as changes are made to it after the legislative session, is something we will be seeing again a year from now. I think a middle ground on this would be a $350 fine for this year. We will revisit next year. If it's the consensus of the council to continue raising that, it would be raised in increments rather than what some might consider a very large increase in 1 year's.
So that then, based on the draft proposals that will be going out, does say 350.
It does, sir.
Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly why it says
So-
350.
I think it was, again, there was a lot of discussion.
I
There
think
was a lot of
that,
discussion, but what you can do you can vote to amend the resolution to specify that the school bus, not stopping for a school bus be $350.
Mr. Ware, if I may interrupt, I believe the resolution says kind of like a permission to investigate, permission to write the ordinance.
Well,
When we write the ordinance, isn't it at that point that we have this discussion?
But we need to know what to advertise.
yeah, so no, it's not quite that, Mr. Clerk. This is, since we've already had the discussion and presentation, what we're asking for permission is to take this to ordinance, which would include advertising it. And, so that was the intent of this, is to get support from the council to say, yes, we do want to change our ordinance, go make that change. So if the prices that you guys want are gonna be different than what we had discussed in the work session, my recommendation for clarity and transparency is to have an amendment or state in the resolution, have an amendment to the resolution that states that the not stopping for a school bus should be 350 or whatever amount the council wants that number to be.
So forgive me, I don't have it in front of me. I had the list at the work session.
I have something for you here.
Is that what's gonna be, so what's in the one that we're looking at today? Because everything was across the board with the exception of that one discussion item. And I don't have it in front of me. So what do you have it being proposed at in front of you?
And this,
350.
in this proposal, it says $350.
So with Chief Hogarth's advice, I would suggest that we not take it straight to the 500 as discussed, revisit again next year. So there shouldn't be any, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't see the need for any amendment.
Maybe we can see if the statistics.
Is 350
of
do the
the
trick?
increase next year.
And Mayor, Mr. Weeks, that is an excellent suggestion. I do not have a feel or background for how important this is, how many violations that we're gonna see, but I'm gonna be attentive.
Okay, so if there's no further questions or discussion, we're going to ask for a vote, on the motion as stated.
On item M, Mr. Humbert, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, finally, item N. Discussion action, I would ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-42 FY 25 holiday schedule.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-42. Fiscal year 25 holiday schedule.
I'll second.
Manager, where is there anything that you'd like to?
Now, these are basically the ones that, same holidays that we've had in the last few years. Just adjusted for the day that actually would be off based on the date of the holiday.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
Aye.
Mr. Howe?
Aye.
Mr. Humbert?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Finally, I'd ask, Manager Ware, if you have anything you'd like to report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do want to inform the council that, our auditors, were here yesterday and today. We had a fairly intense for the staff. Anybody that didn't get phone calls back in the last 2 days, I apologize because we were very focused. They did leave today with all the information that they had, except for just a couple of documents. And they feel confident that the 2023 audit that was due on December 15th will be submitted to, their goal is to submit it before the 4th of July. And they're hoping that since 2025 audit season hasn't really started yet, they're anticipating that the state auditor hopefully will have that approved by the end of July. So it took a lot of hard work from our entire team in order to pull that together and make it happen. So accolades to the finance team.
Thank you, Manager, and I apologize to our tourism director. He's been very patient. I kind of missed him in our staff report, and our Shay is going to present for us. So I apologize, Shay, if you'd like to, if you have anything you'd like to present.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Well, good evening, and this is from the Parks and Rec Department. And I'm just gonna go over, kind of what's going on the next few months in this summer. First of all, day camp did start on June 10th, and it's running through August 2nd. And it's not super busy yet, but it's going pretty good, pretty steady. We also have Trash to Treasures up at the community center. They began setup on Monday. And they'll continue until July 6th and 7th, which is the actual event, and then leave on the 8th. The actual event is from 8 to 3. The playground is gonna start to get underway. We're looking at with Archuleta Construction on July 15th. And the west side of the building. The equipment has been ordered and it's set to arrive mid-September. And with installation, probably late September to beginning of October. We don't have that set completely yet. So hopefully by winter, we'll have it done. On Thursdays in June and July, we've had this beginner pickleball clinic. This pickleball's really popular. And it goes from 11 to 1 and they get about 20 to 30 people. So it's really taking off. Music from Angel Fire starts August 11th and they'll be at the center until the 31st. Allen Fields, this weekend, we have a 2-day softball tournament with about 16 to 18 teams coming out. So that's gonna be quite a few people at that tournament. There's another one coming out in July also, that'll be another 2-dayer. The maintenance department's doing a good job with the prairie dogs and the weeding. We do need a new rake for the warning track, it disappeared. I don't know, it was taken from the island fields or what, but it's disappeared. So it's old, so we do need a new one. That's good, but it makes it harder on them for getting the tracks ready. The trail, we're looking to apply for Trails Plus grant. That opens on July 1st, for the trail that's going to an extension from the Frank Young Trail back here to the Allen Fields up to Moreno Valley High School, which we had started on back in 2020. And we're hoping that this grant will also help with getting bathrooms or pavilion at the Allen Fields, because the trail will connect to that and are open to getting proposals for that also. That's about it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council. I've got a few things to cover tonight and I'll be as brief as possible. Last month, we had the New Mexico Tourism Office here. I know a few of you attended the meeting. There were 3 things that we focused on that came out as highlights. One was the partner portal that allows every business to list their services or their business on the state website. So we're getting that information out to everybody in the community so they can be part of that program. There are grant opportunities through the New Mexico Tourism Office for both infrastructure improvements, Allen Fields, softball field improvement, those kind of things, and events grants. So as the plan comes together for the community, these things need to be considered. I've talked to Bill about the opportunities for these things. So as we get the comprehensive plan built, we'll be looking at these other sources of funding to help us get these things accomplished. Seems like a long time ago, but I think it was only about 10 days ago, we had balloons over Angel Fire. I've been told it was record crowds and it was one of the most successful ones we've seen. We did see some increases in occupancy throughout the community. I know the lodge at the hotel normally runs about 25%. They hit 70% for that weekend. Owen Curry at Resort Properties and reported an increase in lodging as well during that weekend. And the goal of these events is always to bring people to the community so they deposit more money in the lodger's tax coffers so we can keep offering more events.
I was, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would point out too that, from what I understand, the most cars counted at the balloons in the past has been 450 at any given time. And we saw over 700, in attendance. And with that, the Chili Express was down that whole time. So we really feel like, we have nothing more to attribute it to, but Greg and his team and all the marketing efforts.
I think it was Jeff and Samantha and the Kite Glider Festival personally.
It certainly didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt at all, and
It
it's
was a
pretty
great
awesome
addition.
when someone comes to you with an idea and then is willing to do the work to
Yeah.
get it done.
I mean, that's what it
Thank
takes.
you. It was a good weekend. We've got about, 8 days till we do it again for the 4th, 5th, and 6th of July. We do have a meeting tomorrow with the village staff and some of the resort staff to coordinate our efforts. We'll be debriefing on balloons, looking at the drone show weekend or the drone show and 4th of July events, the parade and everything. As we build out more events in the community, we're gonna need a little more help. We've talked about hiring an events person there, but we know we want to fill just about every weekend with an event or activity that brings tourists here. So we're brainstorming the ideas, we're looking at yoga festivals, anything, and nothing is off the table at this point. We are truly looking at everything we can and looking at building that event offerings. A couple of things to report on ongoing projects. The website is building out. We should see a full launch of everything on there July 1. So Monday, you'll see all the lodging listings popping up. There's 100 properties that'll be listed right on our website. So our constituents will see their property on our village-based tourism website. We're delivering for them. Our site had 5,600 users last month, up 264%, May over April. Page views were about 13,000, up 259%. So the website's seeing a lot more traffic. Our social media advertising We delivered 4.9 million ad displays. A lot of this was in support of balloons and other things we have going on. We reached 1.4 million different people. We gained 9,500 new followers since April 9th, which is pretty strong growth in a 3-month period. Our ramp is like this. We are really ramping up. It's not this, we're going like this. On our followers, our total on Facebook right now is 24,000. We added 9,000 in that time period. So almost a third of them came in then. Instagram, our total 680, but we added 515, so just about all of our Instagram grew from nothing. And we'll see how that goes. We're building the assets library. At the beginning of the meeting, you saw some of the pictures that were shown just in the background. There's some of them in your packets that were shot at the balloons weekend throughout town that we'll be using in our future website social posts. Any questions for me? No one's fast.
That's why I congratulate and thank you for all your hard work over the balloons weekend. I mean, you're out there. Just, I mean, in person getting it done the whole time. So thank you.
Yeah, the whole village, the village staff is pretty strong. The people I work with in the community are pretty hard work on every department I've been counted. So it's a great place to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, I'll adjourn this meeting.
Greg, do you have notes on what you just said?
What?
Do you have notes on what you just said? And have we,
You got it.
Thank you.
I brought it for you, Dennis.
Still made me ask for it.
I'm,
Yes.